This is Dr. Tina Cannon from Chattanooga State Community College, and in this segment we're going to see how to use the TI calculator to construct a box plot. We want to go to Course Compass and to our calculator instruction. We are in Unit 1 and we want to use the handout that says Boxplots. Now, all through this course, if you've watched any of the video clips, we've used the same set of values, which is the weights of the pitchers on the Atlanta baseball team. Okay, and what we want to do is we want to construct a box plot to look at the way that the percentiles of these, or the quartiles of these players. And when we work with box plots, they're all based on quartiles. You have to have what we call a 5-number summary. And the 5-number summary, as you can read on our handout, you always have to find the minimum and the maximum, but the first value is the minimum. The second value is the first quartile, which, if you remember, that's the 20th percentile, or the 25th percentile. The median, which is the middle number, or we could say that is the 50th percentile. The third quartile would be 75 percentile, 75%, the percentile for 75%. We'll get that right in a minute. And then the maximum value, so that's your 5-number summary. And what we want to do is, I'll show you how to use our list and our calculator to find the 5-number summary, and then I'll show you how to graph the box plot. So I want to take my calculator, and when I first come onto the calculator, it looks like this. You push Stat, move over to Calculate, and we were going to push Enter because we have one set of values, and I need to push, whoops, wrong one. Let me try again. Stat and push Enter. There we go. And we want to place our values into List 1. If you do not have those values in List 1, you can go ahead right now and pause the video and put those values into your calculator. Okay, and you can see that if you look at your handout, it leads you through this. Okay, so it's just telling you to enter the values in List 1. Now, what I want to do is something before we get to the graphing part. So I want to show you, if you were actually needing the 5-number summary for a box plot, what you're going to do is you're going to push Stat and move over to Calculate, and notice number 1, because it's one variable. Whoops, I have too many things in here, and sometimes this happens. You see how I have more than one? I need to hit Clear first and try again. Stat, Calculate, push Enter. It should just be by itself, and push Enter again. And that often happens with students, and they try to find out what's wrong with their calculators because they've put in some things and then try to do this again. So the 5-number summary, you see where it's flashing below the N? We need to push the arrow key down. Okay, and this is your 5-number summary. Your minimum, your quartile 1, your median, your quartile 3, and your maximum. Notice we have that the lightest weight baseball player, or pitcher on the Atlanta Braves weighs 170 pounds. Notice that 25% of the players weigh less than 185. Notice 50% weigh less than 200. Okay, and continue on. There's 75% less than this, and then the heaviest pitcher is 230 pounds. So that's your 5-number summary. But you need that to graph your box plot. Now, if you're constructing a box plot, you need to have a number line. If you were doing these by hand, and the number line would have to range between the values 170 to 230. The number line would have to range from those. And so you could think about a way to graph this. You may want the number line to start maybe at 160 to make it where you can see it a little better, and go to, say, 240. You can select how you would like to count on the number line, if you want to do by tens or whatever, and you can mark off your numbers. Now the box plot will always be drawn above the number line that we have. Okay, and I know in Course Compass it is hard to comprehend that because you're not actually drawing that by hand. They have it on the computer a lot of times and you're selecting the right one. But I just wanted to let you know that's how you go about doing this. Now, I want to show you how you can actually have your calculator graph the box plot so that you can see it. Okay, notice the steps that are in your handout. Okay, what I need you to do first is to push y equals. And if there's anything in any of these equal signs down through here, and you might want to scroll down, make sure, you need to be sure that's clear. Okay, it needs to be cleared out. So everything is clear. Now, the next thing, if you notice above y equal, it says stat plot. So we're going to push second and y equals. And notice right now all of mine say off. Okay, if they do not say off, if some of yours says on, go down to number 4, just push 4, scroll down to 4 and push enter, and notice it'll say done. And now when you push second y equals, everything should be turned off. So that's the first part that you need to do. Next thing, I'm going to scroll this up where we can use it. Next thing, we need to go to plot 1. So we're on plot 1 and we're going to push enter. And this is the part of the calculator that will help you graph different things. And what we're doing is we're wanting to draw a box plot. Now notice right now the cursor is flashing on top of on, but the off is what is highlighted. We need to turn on this, so we're going to push enter on top of on, and now you can see that on is flashing. Okay, we're going to move the arrow key down to the graph. You see where the word type, we're going to come down to the graph. Notice right now that's a dot plot. Okay, that's a line plot, histogram. And I'm using my right arrow key. If I try to go down, it goes down to my list. So I'm using my right arrow key to get to the next part. And what I want to do is I want to go to this graph. Now this one, the one with the dot, shows if you have outliers. So you might use that later. But right now we just want to use the one that is a box plot. And it's the 5th graph. And we're going to push enter. Okay, when you do that, notice it should come up X list. Before it said something else. So right now my X list should be whatever list that your values are in. So ours is in list 1, and frequency we're going to leave always as 1. Okay, so let me scroll down. You can see this on your handout if you'll do this. Now this is the important part. You got to be very careful. To graph the box plot, notice press the zoom button and scroll down to where it says zoom stat. There it is, number 9, zoom stat, and push enter. And you should now see a box plot. Okay, if you don't, then go back through your steps and make sure you've put everything in just like the handout says. If not, you can always come by the Math Center, or you can contact your instructor and ask them what's wrong. But this is our box plot. Now, notice on your handout, it says, to see the 5-number summary, press the trace button. Well, when you push the trace button, notice the first thing down here at the bottom, it says the median is 200. So it shows you the middle of your box plot. So that means that 50% of our baseball players have weights that's less than 200. 50% would be greater. Each of these segments, like from your minimum to this is your quartile 1. The box is made out of all the quartiles. Okay, the very first line is your minimum. I'm going to move over so you can see. I'm going to use my arrow key. Okay, notice the line goes from your minimum all the way up to your maximum. Okay, and then what happens is the box is made out of the quartiles. So if I push my right arrow key, it goes to quartile 1. That's the line on the end of the box. If I push my arrow key again, that's the median. If I push my line again, notice that is Q3. That's the 75th quartile, or 75th percentile. And then if I push again, notice that's the maximum. So the box plot helps to divide up the values into quarters. So this would be 25, 25, 25, and 25. So that is how you can actually use the calculator to draw a box plot. Now let me pull up a problem and show you how they will go about asking you to do this. In this particular problem, they ask you to take these numbers and type them into your calculator. So that's what we're going to do first. We're going to push Stat and Enter. I'm going to move on top of L1 and push Clear and Enter, and I'm going to type these in. Now if you need to push pause, do so now and type in the values, but I'm going to type these in as we're going along. And notice this, the values are talking about the amount of corn that is grown from regular corn seed. So we're going to look to see what they're talking about in just 1 second. Let me finish typing these in. It's harder to type in on the computer than it is the actual calculator, but I always make a mistake, so I hope I get this correct. Let's see, 81, 1898, 1634, and 1312. Okay, now you notice they are not in order, but right now that does not matter with what we're doing. Okay, to do a 5-number summary or box plot, you do not have to sort your values. But notice what this says. The data listed below represent the yield for regular corn seed. Find the 5-number summary and construct a box plot. So we want to do our 5-number summary. So Stat, move over to Calculate, push Enter twice. Okay, and if I scroll down, there's my 5-number summary. So I need to type these in. Notice it says use ascending order. Now what that means is the order that you see right there, the minimum, Q1, median, Q3, max. Okay, so we're going to type those in. Whoops. 1312, 1505. Let's see what else we had. 1914. 2054, and the last one, 2481. 2481. Okay, so we're going to check our answer and see if it's correct, and it's correct. Now what they ask you to do is select the box plot. So I'm going to go to my calculator and I'm going to push second and y equal. I'm going to pick number 1, push Enter. It's already turned on. Notice the box plot is highlighted, L1 is on, frequency is 1, so all I have to do is push Zoom and then Zoom Stat. I have to find that wherever Zoom Stat is at. There we are, number 9, push Enter, and there's my box plot. So I need to pick the one that looks like this. And if you notice, the median is what's going to give this away. In this particular problem, we can see that in these problems the median's a little more in the center where ours is not. Notice this one, the median's over to the left, so this would be our correct graph. Push Enter, and there you go. Also, I want you to notice this. If you ever see this small arrow glass, now my computer's working here, but the arrow glass, if you click this, this will blow this up larger so that you can see, and you can actually check your values down through here. If you notice, our first value is 1312, so these look like that'd be 1300, 1400, 15, 16, 17, yeah, so that's how they're broken up. So you see how that line's about 1300. This is close to 1505. Notice my other one was 19, so that's there. And then 2054, so that'd be close to this line. And then the last number is 2481. So that's this number. So you can blow those up anytime you see that there is a magnifying glass, it enlarges. So that is how you go about constructing a box plot with a calculator.